So the Super Eagles of Nigeria landed South Africa yesterday evening, and thank God for Johnny Messi for the team and also the contingencies as well. But the plan has been set in motion, as you know. Uh, they are there for serious business in the city of Bloemfontein, uh, where of course they are going to play the match tomorrow. 5 p.m. is the time. Nigeria South Africa crunch tie. This is a tie that may well decide who goes on to be the table topper in the Group C World Cup qualifying series. So this is very important. It may look like South Africa are having a head start or having a bit of an advantage in terms of points right now, but if they don't get a result in that match, then it could change very quickly for them by the end of tomorrow night. But as usual, I'm back to give you some of the stories that are making the rounds right now concerning this match. But of course, majority of the statements that I'll be sharing in this video are from the South African camp, where we've seen a couple of players come out to react to this game. This game, against Nigeria. From the captain himself, the goalkeeper of the side, Ronwell Williams, uh, to the guys that actually scored. There are 3 goals in the previous game against Lesotho. The Foster, and the likes. All these guys have had one or two things to say concerning this match tomorrow. And then, there's also some things that I found from South African journalists, a couple of them. I think I'm just going to share one, who's now uh, I would say in fear, is now calling out to the coach of the South African team, Hugo Bruce, and is warning the team uh, to be very careful of a certain Nigerian Super Eagles striker, Tolu Arokodare, who showed himself in the previous game. But I'm going to share that later on. Let me just start with, Victor Osimhen's update. Of course, you guys do know now that he didn't travel with the team to South Africa because of that injury that he had in the previous game. So based on the report, it seemed like the his club side, Galatasaray Football Club, had to send in a private jet to pick him up and return him to Istanbul, Turkey, where he would be going for that test. To know what's happening with him and know how to tackle it very quickly so that it doesn't get serious more than it already is. Right now. So, but for Victor Osimhen, he's been able to release a short statement concerning what has happened to him. According to him, he said that it is not too bad, the injury. I left the pitch so that I will not get worse. I will get back stronger. We move. And then he also wished the rest of the guys good luck in part of the statement before he left the camp. And as I said in the previous video, he spent some time speaking with Dula Kodari. So obviously, um, there's no shortage of motivation, no shortage of experience, no shortage of ideas, his own ideas on how they could face, the next task of course against South Africa. So he has done his bit and obviously has left them now. It's now in the hands of the other remaining players to take charge and then stand up for the occasion. But let's talk about what these some of the South African players have said recently. We'll start with the likes of Leo Foster, who's one of the strikers of South African side. Of course, he was on the score sheet in the 3-0 victory over the Soto, scored one of the goals. But he's now come out to react to whether or not there is pressure on South Africa as they prepare to play the Super Eagles of Nigeria. For him, he says that the pressure is not necessarily on them because he feels not he feels, but he knows that they have an advantage, based on the table, the points, and that the ones that should have the pressure are the ones that are chasing them, not necessarily them who are leading the group. So this is what he said in his own word. I think Nigeria is under pressure and not South Africa. I don't necessarily think there's pressure on us. I think at the moment we are where we are in the group, and that is a positive. I think the pressure is on the guys who are trying to get to us, but that doesn't mean that we should take our foot off the gas or take our foot off the pedal. That's what he told Safa Net Media. But there's also been a couple of reactions as well. I think even the goalkeeper of the side, the second choice goalkeeper, specifically, he talked about what it means to them to secure the qualification ticket for the FIFA World Cup. Talking about how the last time they did it, it was back in 2018, 2010, or thereabout. That it means a lot to them, as a team to qualify for this one. This is why they want to give everything. This person is Sifu Shine. I think is like second choice of the South African team. Also, remember Williams has spoken about this. Where he talks about. I think for him is more personal. He wants to be one of the few players to make history to qualify to the World Cup, and then while having represented Sundowns in the Club World Cup, so he also wants to replicate that with the national team. And he's saying that they have a few players in Sundowns who had done it, and they also want to make sure that they do it with their national team. Going uh, representing in two of FIFA's World Cup series in club and country. So that's like the big motivation for Will Williams at this point. So that's part of what Ronald Williams wants to do at this point. But I mean, if you ask me, I think the need or the what's it called ambition of an individual cannot be placed over the needs and ambition of a whole nation, a whole 250 to 80 million people. Because I mean, that's what it feels like right now for the Super Eagles. They have a whole nation, behind them, and not to say that South Africa doesn't have a whole nation behind them, but when you talk about what these people are sharing, what the players are sharing as like the motivation, sometimes it's really difficult to understand where the urgency is and how this can actually really motivate them more than you know the motivation that might come from the Super Eagles side. But I mean, let me just leave it like that, and then we'll talk about the other reaction from one of the goal scorers as well. This time goes by the name Mao Nkota, scored one of the goals against Lesotho. He has said that have to continue where we left off against Lesotho. We must go all out for the 3 points to open the gap at the top. And if we don't get the win, we will take a draw and move on. That's part of what he said. I said that we did what we had to do against Lesotho, and that has got us closer to realizing our dream of going to the World Cup. It is going to be a difficult but exciting game against Nigeria because they have a lot of quality players in their squad. We are ready for the fight. It is never easy against them because they are a talented team, and we will be ready on Tuesday. It is all about teamwork. If we work together as a team, we can succeed against them. So this is what Nkota has said, and he stressed out a very important thing to consider here, that they want to go to get 3 points, but if they don't get 3 points, a draw is also important for them. But they actually have a choice. Why for Nigeria, we don't have a choice. We have to win. We have to win or we win. That is the only choice we have. Win or win. But South Africa, according to Nkota, they can win or they can take a draw. So now you tell me who has the most urgency, who has the most motivation for this game. I'll leave it at that, guys. That is part of the things I wanted to let you guys know. So later in the evening, we'll definitely see, some media, some pictures and clips. Kucherick Shaw as well will be holding a press conference before the proper training. So we'll see what more he has to say concerning the team and the preparation so far ahead of tomorrow's game.